So this has been a video. A lot of people have wanted me to watch this ever since it came out. I obviously there's been a lot of election stuff, and the big question, why are men moving right? Now, in my opinion, I think the answer to this is fucking obvious.
Hello everyone, and happy 1-year anniversary to my male loneliness epidemic video. I'm happy to announce that since that video uploaded, the discourse has greatly improved. People all around the world are taking men's issues more seriously.
Well, that stopped after Kamala lost. Yeah, that's over. This was like a video from before the election. Yeah, that's done.
The gender war has finally come to an end. Just kidding, everything has gotten worse and nobody has learned anything. From the witches on The View cackling about how men are useless.
Do we need men?
This is the same woman, by the way, that was upset the other day that men didn't vote for Kamala Harris. It turns out, in fact, you did need men. Kinda interesting, huh?
Men are useless. I mean...
To women online saying they'd rather be stranded in the woods with a bear than a man.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
The bear. Bear. It seems that things have gotten more toxic than ever.
I feel like that's one of those questions that's like a retard indicator. Like, if you think that, I automatically think that you're stupid. Like, it's not even that, like, it makes me mad. I just like, oh, okay, so you're just, yeah, you don't think about things the right way.
In 2008, 58% of young people leaned Democratic. 2012, 53%. And in the last 2 major election years, that percentage held steady at 55%. But in 2023, that number dipped below 50% for the first time since 2005.
Yep.
And you'll notice right here, they've started to lean more Republican. And that's partly because of one specific group.
Because of guys.
Young men.
That's right. The man problem.
Okay, I know I said I was going to focus on the gender war and not talk about politics for a while. However, I found a loophole. Politics is talking about gender war. With this election being hailed by the media as the man versus woman election, according to any and all data coming out recently, men all around the world have shifted more right, and women have shifted more left. But women going more left was not the focus of this month's outrage. The outrage, of course, was about men. That's right, we got our yearly, oh no, what is happening to men? Why are they moving to the right freak out? But unlike last year, this freak out isn't solely happening on the internet, no. It's also
also another big difference about last year's freak out is that this year's freak out was codified by an election. That's the big difference, I would say. That's a real big fucking difference.
Happening in Washington, D.C.
There are only 46 days until Election Day, and the Harris-Walz campaign is struggling to appeal to a group of voters that could determine the outcome of the election, and that is men.
The Harris campaign is making an aggressive last-minute effort to win over younger male voters.
Am I really going to make a video criticizing the Democrat Party days before the election? Of course I am. Now, before you celebrate or grab your pitchforks, this is not a pro-Trump video.
Okay, so it's a pro-Trump. See, the thing is that it's really funny how everybody who makes videos on the internet now has to preface this stuff, and you literally can't. Again, you can't reason a person out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. The people that believe this shit, they believe it. They're not believing it based off of like, oh, I evaluated the facts and this is my conclusion. No, they believe this because they're mad. They're upset.
This is a mommy's not mad, she's disappointed video. Actually, I lied. Mommy's pretty mad. In this video, I am going to be addressing the Democrats' so-called man problem, the recent discourse about men moving right, the last-minute pandering the Democratic Party is doing to get them back, what they could be doing instead, and of course, going over some terrible opinions. Not my opinions. I have never had a bad opinion in my life.
Yes,
except that one opinion. We don't talk about that one.
I got banned for.
In a world where it seems like everything men do and like is toxic, from eating meat to working out to
how gym bro culture is harming young men, the pressure to get jacked is sparking a male mental health crisis and driving men into the arms of the far right. It's just like this kind of thinking is just, it's so stupid.
And having a beard.
Why men's with beards are sexist. And you know what's really funny about this? Is I bet the reason why this got written is just because of J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has a beard, so beards are sexist. It's just so, like, it's so fucking stupid. I can't even believe it.
Before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Henson Shaving. And thank you for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right?
No, we're not.
And now, let's get back to the video.
We don't need to do that.
If you are a regular viewer to the Shoe on Head channel, first of all, I'm sorry. But also, you know by now, I have been documenting the internet and society in general's growing and widely accepted hatred of men. This has been happening for a very long time. And if you dare spoke up about it, you were called an incel or a pick-me, depending on your gender. But seemingly, almost out of nowhere, there has been a change of heart.
Well, the reason why there's been a change of heart is because there's enough of them now. It's not like people became more understanding. It's just that people realized that they couldn't just hand wave it away. A very important component.
I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country. I think that plays out different ways. But I think we need to have a real conversation about that.
Wow, that's interesting. Mainstream media talking about this? I wonder why they care so much now. Democrats fear Harris losing too many male voters to Trump.
Well, how about that?
Oh. Signs have been mounting that, for the first time in recent decades, Democrats may lose majority support from young men in 2024. The risk to Democrats is that this is not just a one-time fluke, but an indication of growing trouble with men in coming elections. Democrats can celebrate the support they are getting from young women, but they also need to take disaffection of young men seriously, engage them directly, and respond to the visions of manhood and masculinity that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are offering. Alright, Kamala, you got 2 weeks to reverse anti-male propaganda and resentment fueled by our government, media, and institutions. How you gonna do it? Harris campaign creating space for white dudes.
I just like, it's just so, it's like even whenever this is like their version of like reverse racism, where they're like, we actually want to bring in white guys. And it's like, is this what it feels like to be patronized for being a minority? Like, guys, is this what it's like? Like, because I read that title and I'm like, well, you fucking loser. Like, what do you mean?
That's a great idea. I mean, a little too late, but I'm glad you're finally doing To Be Honest About Role in History. Oh, To Be Honest
About Role in History. Oh, okay. So, yeah, space for them to take accountability for things that they didn't do. Right, okay. Sure, true.
Oh. It's always a space for white men to talk about how much they suck.
And so the idea that you're going to tell a 21-year-old guy that he isn't going to have opportunities and advantages and privileges because of something his grandfather did, this really isn't a very good sell. Putting any sort of original sin on people are going to lose their minds on this. They're going to hate it. Well, men used to have this advantage. Yeah, but I don't have it, so why am I getting punished? Okay, well, that's just the way it is. It's systematic. Well, where's the system? The only system I see is privileges and scholarships for women. Like, any young guy, like, college and getting a job, and especially an entry-level job, are the two main experiences that every young man under 30 has probably gone through, one or the other, if not both. And in both of those circumstances, there are privileges and opportunities that are created for women that are not available for men. You can't tell somebody that they can't see what's directly in front of them. When you see these opportunities put out for getting women into STEM, and there's women that are getting invited in over somebody else who's a guy, or getting an extra privilege, or getting an internship at a company. Internships absolutely are meaningful. That's why people have them. Any guy that sees that is going to think that they're being discriminated against. And do you want to know why? It's because they are. When you categorize people by a group and you provide privileges to a certain part of that group and not the other part, you've just done a discrimination.
At the top of the call, White Dudes for Harris organizer Ross Morales Roquito said he wanted to address what he called the elephant in the room, criticism surrounding an event organized for white men given the country's history of racism. But people felt uncomfortable about the call, he said.
Quit it.
Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on. They can't even have their gay little...
Wait, what? A lot of times, a lot of people felt uncomfortable about the call, he said. Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on. Did you know that when white men organized, it was also to get rid of slavery? and to stop the Nazis in World War II. Like, this is just like, it's such a disgusting, ridiculous thing to say. And as a white guy, I find this to be incredibly offensive. I do. I would never vote for a person that would talk about me like this. Absolutely.
They can't even have their gay little Zoom call where they circle jerk about hating themselves without their own movement going, yikes! A bunch of white males in one space. Black people can have their little groups and that's fine, but if a bunch of white people get together, well...
Yeah.
Well, that's just called breadtube. Never mind. White dudes for Harris. I mean, she's doing pretty bad with Latinos, too. What's next? Hombres con Harris? Oh.
The Democratic campaign initiatives to mobilize the Hispanic male vote. Oh my God. I don't know what to say about this kind of stuff. Like, this is so, it's just so patronizing and insulting. It's unbelievable.
So basically, men are leaving the Democratic Party in droves, and it's not looking too good for the Democrats. So it wasn't long until everyone's favorite discourse hit Twitter again. If Kamala loses, which is very possible, there needs to be a real discussion about how Democrats speak to and reach young men. If Kamala loses. If she wins, there doesn't have to be a discussion.
That's right.
We shouldn't change anything. Clearly, we're doing everything right. To be clear, I'm not saying we need to worry about women less or change any positions. I'm saying the polling around young men is concerning, and if it turns out to be true, we need to have a discussion about how condescending we are coming off to a huge part of the electorate.
You want to know what's really funny is I bet this guy probably got a huge amount of hate for that comment. Because he's completely right. If you condescend to people and you talk down to them and you just act like they're bad, they're going to act like they don't like you. It's a big surprise, right? I mean, what are we even talking about? Obviously, that's what happened.
To be clear, I'm not saying we have to change anything. I'm just wondering why men aren't voting for us. What? I am going to regret posting this so hard.
What a surprise. Who could have guessed?
And oh boy did he. The replies were insane, to say the least. I must admit, I cringed reading most of this. I feel that one thing you didn't address is the systemic entitlement bestowed upon white men in the US. That sense of entitlement, that privilege they felt for eternity, is eroding.
What privilege is that? Like, if you go and you talk to a 21-year-old white guy now, what privilege are they actively enjoying? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Systemic entitlement they have felt for eternity? They're like 22 years old. The f*** do you mean eternity? So young men are snowflakes with hurt fifis because they're not the center of attention anymore. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. Trump and Vance and Joe Rogan make them the center of attention, and then they win the elections.
So are they poor little snowflakes, boo-hoo, or are they scary fascists that are going to turn America into the Handmaid's Tale? Because they can't be both. You either care about the future, or you don't. You cannot simultaneously hand-wave away men moving to fascism, but also fearmonger about it. Hi, man here. Maybe men just need to stop being absolute pieces of dog shit. It seems like the easiest thing to do.
This is just... Do you know what's the most sad about this? It's like these self-hating men that do this, and I personally think that the only reason guys make posts like this is to virtue signal to have girls think that they're good people. Like, they're basically trying to sell themselves out in order to, like, have girls like them.
Right? I don't feel alienated or uncomfortable with democratic messaging because I'm not a complete wannabe fascist cheese dick incel loser who thinks he's the good guy.
The way that they make women happy is by being subservient. They can't meet women's needs in other ways, so the only way they can is by being obedient and subservient.
Reddit and its consequences have been a disaster for the male race. They just need to get off their asses, stop playing video games, and get real jobs. First,
to be fair, probably true in a lot of cases.
First of all, what real jobs? These guys are coming out of college with useless diplomas, and there are no jobs.
I mean, like, the real jobs that are out there have initiatives to have women get hired over them. So it's like, yeah, go get a real job, and then, by the way, it's rigged against you. Yeah, there's some, like, DEI initiative that puts you at the back of the line.
Tell them to get therapy. Tell them whatever you told or gave to women in the 1950s.
Yeah, and there it is. Why would a guy that's born in the year 2001 give a fuck what happened in 1950? Why would he ever do, like, it's just, they're looking for revenge, not equality. They are.
any other group of people and it's, oh, boo-hoo, poor baby. We rewire all of society so your feelings aren't hurt. And then with men, it's get therapy. Be better. From
and it's like, and this is also coming from the women that are like turning on their cell phone and recording a video for TikTok while they're screaming because Kamala Harris lost. And this is like after they've pulled their hair out and they've been bed rotting for 4 hours. It's like, this is the person that's telling you be better. Some like psycho with 3 different colors of blue in their hair with a septum ring that lives at her mom's house at, you know, I was going to say level 34, age 34. Like, what are we talking about? That's on like 3 different antidepressants, you know, screaming at you for you to be better.
Democrats as a whole, I reject that telling young men they need to be better is the problem. They are trash in their nature, and if they can't do the work to not be toxic waste of seed, that's on them.
Well, you can keep telling people that, but it doesn't make them want to vote. Yeah, big surprise. Telling people that they're trash in their nature is a very bad thing to get them to agree with you.
We may not want to hear it, but this is what the data reflects. There is a massive loneliness epidemic in this country, which is disproportionately affecting men. Instead of calling them incels or mocking them, we should be willing to hear out their concerns. Wow.
True. Very true. And by the way, if you don't hear out their concerns, that's totally fine. They'll find somebody else that does. And then once there's enough of them, they control all the branches of government, and then they take away abortion.
Surprisingly good
That's
tweet
what
in
happens.
a sea of bullshit.
What do you expect?
That's nice to see. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you're a straight white man, so yeah, go do something about it. Why are you guys bothering the rest of us with this? I can't figure it out.
The rest of us? Isn't it a white guy? I mean, I feel like that's a white guy.
I would like for Democrats to win the election. Why do you care about men suffering? Because I want
you want to win, obviously.
to win the election. Amazing. This is the issue right here. Start seeing men as people and not numbers in polls. That is step 1. You can't even do step 1. Anyway, there were thousands of these kind of tweets in response to this guy.
Oh, now after the election has been over, every single time that I look at Twitter, it's like some person who's mad about the election talking about how they're going to do something bad to a person who has a different political opinion than them. And I want to say, like, if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. But don't be surprised when it happens back to you.
Hey, white dudes. So I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse.
They thought this was going to work. Be one of the good ones. Man, I remember when Republicans tried to do that for black people for a long time. That worked really well, didn't it? Didn't that work really well?
Are you f***ing kidding me? Years of these people saying men suck and are the problem, and now they're like, hey, fellow men, are you sick of being told you suck and are the problem? The audacity. Apparently, Kamala Harris has a secret weapon to win over male voters.
Kamala Harris is turning to her running mate, Tim Walz, hoping he is the secret weapon who can chip away at Donald Trump's support from men.
Much like how Trump chose Pence to win over the more establishment Republican voters, Kamala seems to have chosen Tim Walz to try and win over the white male vote. And boy, are they trying. Now, I don't hate Tim Walz. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised when they chose him over Josh Shapiro. I like a lot of his policies, like his universal school lunch policy. That's an amazing policy. You'd have to be an insane freak to disagree with that.
It was very well received.
Or a libertarian. But I repeat myself. And there were a few times where he was speaking where I completely forgot he was running to be Kamala's VP and not president himself. And he actually brought a lot of energy to the Democratic stage for once.
He did.
So what the f*** was this? Putting out a bunch of ads of Tim Walz changing the air filter in a car, clumsily shooting a gun, and drawing a political football play-by-play. Trotting out Walz like some kind of minstrel show of a white man.
I didn't say it, she said it. Okay? Everybody was thinking that.
Like a man dressing up like a man for Halloween. You don't gotta do all this, bro, I promise you. And they don't shy away about how that's exactly what they are trying to do. Tim Walz is clearly a Midwest man's man, but he's the antidote to toxic MAGA masculinity. Despite his typically masculine resume as a Midwestern football coach and veteran, Walz is utilizing those qualities to push forward a more progressive, compassion-based form of masculinity.
I feel like in a lot of cases, like this is like kind of true, but it just comes off as so performative and fake that I don't think that people buy into it. Like, for example, I think if Tim Walz was running by himself, like, there's a reason, like, he's the governor, right? Like, so he's won an election before. So it's not like this guy isn't popular, but if you contextualize it around, like, the, you know, like, National Democratic Party, then you have a totally different situation.
Being a vice president is understanding that you are just that. Someone who is there to aid and support the president. Walz simply being there on the ticket with a woman and taking a back seat to his running mate.
It's positively masculine whenever you take a back seat to a woman. Like, I don't really understand, like, how... Like, I mean, how do you expect to, like, tell that to somebody and then have them be like, yeah, this sounds great, you know, like, come sign me up.
How Tim Walz is defining masculinity. Amy Deal, a sexism researcher and author of the 2023 book Glass Walls,
called a bullshit
told
job.
USA Today that men like Walz who are intentional about rejecting traits and beliefs commonly dubbed as toxic masculinity are the tonic to harmful stigma associated with expectations of men and boys.
The thing is that a lot of this is actually true, which is kind of funny. Like, for example, like, what is my best example of masculinity? Well, it would be Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
He shows you can be masculine, but also not threatened by women as equals or women who are in positions of power. In fact, you can be cheerleaders for them. Notice the common theme here. Taking a back seat. Cheerleading. Like 5 different articles I read specifically use this word cheerleading. Even a few about Kamala Harris's husband, Doug. God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy men in the news, and I think I found one.
I just, like, can you think about how bad it would sound if, like, God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy women in the news or all the lousy black people in the news, and I think I found one? Like, or all the lousy Latinos in the news or Jews in the news. Like, can you think about how bad that would sound? People would be losing their fucking mind. And so, like, and this is the issue that these people have, is that what they should do is they need to, before they write an article like this, they need to replace men with women or another minority group and then think, would this sentence offend me? And if the answer is yes, then don't put men in there either. And the problem, again, is that these people think that they have a moral mandate that, like, well, I should because it's true. It's true. So that's the way I see the world. That's the way it is. So if I say, like, I have, but that's true. It's just, again, if you like losing elections, this is what you should do.
A lovable goofball who is happy to cheerlead for his wife, the vice president of the U.S. Thank God for Doug Emhoff. Successful guys can support their wives and be respected. You don't have to be the quarterback to play the game at an elite level. Emhoff and his breed of dudes who are giving it their best shot
the dudes part is
may never be as come hither to lost young men as the militant Andrew Tate models of manhood, but they are out there, and, not unlike good husbands, will appear when they are needed.
Not unlike good husbands. I don't even understand what that means.
From the outside looking in,
what?
The right promises young men a return to the good times, of the glorious past. You know, the one your grandfather had. The Coca-Cola ad rose-tinted version of the past. Back when you can afford a house and support a family on one income. While the left, which historically, in my opinion, had the policies to make that happen, are instead trying to sell men a vision of the future.
Yeah, sure.
And well, the future is female.
If you have all the shirts that say the future is female, it's like the emperor's new clothes. Like, everybody can see this.
You're no longer playing the game, men. You're on the sidelines being a cheerleader. Doesn't that just sound so exciting? Like, what the hell is going on inside these DNC consultant meetings? I really gotta know. Does anyone have any ideas on how to appeal to young men? And please, for the love of God, do not say we have to offer them anything or change in any way. I got it. What? Camo hats. We did that. Vasectomy bus. We did that. Have you perhaps tried nagging them? Yes, we've been doing that.
Yeah, that's why they're voting for Trump.
You know that whole male loneliness epidemic thing? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh, yeah.
A really nice place. Have you been here before?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. I bring everybody here.
I said I go on a lot of dates, but...
Wow, what a great advertisement. So what if you accidentally are dating a emotionally unstable crazy bitch, don't you want to keep her around? No, not really.
Hey men, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, women won't fuck you.
Also, what's really funny about this is that there's a lot of women that voted for Trump too. It's like this whole thing where it's like, oh, women don't vote. It's not even true. It's just stupid.
Young men should know that if you vote for Trump, you're basically never going to get laid.
Okay. Here's the problem. A lot of them already aren't getting laid. You can't lose something you didn't have. Nothing changes.
I mean, is it incorrect?
Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris, get laid.
They are not beating the pretending to be progressive to get laid allegations with this one.
By the way, I do think guys do that. I absolutely think that guys do that. They'll mask their political beliefs in order to get girls that are like very politically motivated or like have strong beliefs to like hook up with them. Yeah, 100% they do. Absolutely.
When men pretend to be more progressive on dating apps to get laid. Do not do this, by the way. Be open and honest about your opinions. And no, you cannot fix them. Also, pretty weird and like low-key sexist to imply like women are some prize for voting the correct way.
Yeah, that's all. It's always a good thing whenever women who are against objectification commodify their bodies as a reward for doing some sort of action, like it's a payment. But, you know, hey, well, totally normal.
Hey, and if all else fails, go after the gooner vote.
Oh! Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
It is really funny because of how stupid it is. It is. That's perfect.
I'm sorry. I love this ad. The one time they speak to men directly, and it's, hey men, the Republicans are gonna take away one of the only vices you use to numb the pain. So vote for us. Bleak. Just the absolute state of the world right now. Also, believe it or not, this wasn't the worst of it.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare. You think I'm afraid to rebuild
why is eating your steak rare being a man?
Carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I'll tell you another thing.
I could believe that.
I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
This was crazy. Like, it's actually insane how ideologically captured they are by identity politics.
When I first saw this, I thought it was a parody by Republicans to make fun of how hard the Democratic Party is trying to pander to men to get their vote. But alas.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Oh my God. I can't even play out what an advertisement like this would be for minorities. Like, think about the parallels that you could do for a minority group. Oh my God. Oh my fuck. That would be so fucking bad.
Democrats deployed their ultimate weapon, Barack Obama. At a campaign stump for Harris on Thursday in Pittsburgh, Obama said that despite Harris raising upward of $1 billion, we have yet to see the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
That's because you were a better candidate. Do you think Barack Obama would come up and say good morning 6 times in a row and how are we doing 4 times in a row? No. He didn't talk like a fucking idiot.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, I'm clearly a woman. I don't need to point that out to anyone.
I actually thought this was one of the respectable good things that Kamala Harris did, is that a lot of the messaging for her being like a woman or a minority was done by other people and not her herself. And I think this is a point that I think that, I think it's very respectable that she did that.
But the point that most people really care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I was proud. Yeah. It's like they finally learned from Hillary Clinton's failure. But that didn't stop the media or Barack Obama from doing it for her. Thanks, Obama. For all the Zoomers, thanks, Obama was a meme in 2008.
It was a long time ago.
It was funny back then. That would have slapped. While I was writing this video, Kamala and Gretchen Whitmer were getting ready to film a video at a bar together when Kamala was apparently caught on hot mic saying this.
Yeah. Oh, we have microphones and listening to everything. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. So, well,
You'll
now
bleep
you tell
my
us.
F words.
We just told all the family secrets. Shit.
See, if she talked like that all the time, she probably would have had a much better chance of winning. You talk like a fake psychotic bitch. Nobody wants to vote for the Joker.
We need to move ground with men, so what we're gonna do is to drink beer at a bar. Men like beer, right?
Cheers.
Just talk about policy. Just be yourself. Just listen to men and what they want. Kamala, all you gotta do is talk. Actually, no, now that I think about it, that might make it worse. Put Tim Walz out there, okay? Let Tim Walz do the talking. Don't dress him up as a man. You wanna know how to speak to men? Go to where they are. A good place to speak to young men is the Joe Rogan podcast.
God,
which Kamala
It's so funny that it's being discussed as to whether or not Kamala Harris not going on the Joe Rogan podcast was damaging for her career. I think that's so fucking funny.
Trump went on, and that episode hit like 20 million views in a day. But like, can you blame her? It's just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience. I hate it here. Every time this topic comes up, so does the topic of like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, internet algorithms, Gamergate, whatever.
There is a massive amount of right-wing radicalization that has been occurring, especially in younger male spaces. Any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out.
By the way, Hassan is right about all of this.
Whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever. Everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic.
So the reason why he's right might not be necessarily like what he's trying to say. I think that it's a chicken and the egg scenario where the content that's popular is right-wing because this right-wing content more accurately reflects the way that people see the world and the way that guys feel. So it's not that there's a bunch of right-wing content that's brainwashing people to be racist or to be Nazis. It's that there's a lot of guys that feel disenfranchised, and the content that's being deemed as right-wing is content that reflects what their viewpoints are. Joe Rogan isn't right-wing, it's the right one. Well, I think that it's definitely true that there are a lot of young guys that are extremely attracted by right-wing content. And I think Hassan is right by identifying that. It's very clearly a trend, and I think that the election proves that trend to be true. But why is that trend happening? I think the trend is not happening because content creators are right-wing. I think the trend is happening because people are right-wing and content creators are adapting to that, or content creators that have those same viewpoints are being elevated because those viewpoints are shared with a large audience. That's what's happening. And I think that the cycle begins with people that are looking for content that respects them. And when you create content that respects a person and tells them that their opinions and their beliefs that they have are not racist, evil, or bad, they're going to be like, yeah, I agree with you. And there's a lot of guys that feel disenfranchised. And I think that really, like, a lot of these like right-wing places do a much better job at appealing to them. That's really the truth.
Is honestly a cope, in my opinion, and just an easy excuse for failing to reach anyone beyond your own subreddit. As if this all wasn't the result of like a stagnant neoliberal corpo hell world that created a vacuum that was just waiting to be filled with any kind of populism. The crazy thing is, the Democratic Party did have a candidate who successfully spoke to the demographic that they are currently trying so hard to reach.
Bernie?
His name was Bernie Sanders. And every time he did speak to that demographic or say he was
they were referred to as the Bernie Bros, and they were demonized.
That the Democratic Party didn't do enough to speak to that demographic. He was called a sexist, a racist. He was backstabbed multiple times and cheated out of winning the Democratic primaries.
Twice.
His fans were called Bernie Bros and constantly berated as sexist.
Made me finally realize misogyny in America. I wonder what this girl is writing about today. Maybe nothing. She's in therapy now.
His campaign was too white and too male, and this apparently was a top priority to remedy in
we've got to fix this. Well, Here's the thing. They did. How about that? They fixed the glitch.
We were told he was just like Trump
Problem
and,
solved.
quote, appealed to angry white men. Well, well, who's trying to appeal to angry white men now, bitch? It's almost like Bernie's hyper-focus on working-class issues, bread and butter issues, and populism was naturally attractive to men. No football or beer required.
Right.
I miss him. And you know what? Maybe this shift with young men has less to do with who's holding the football and more of what happens when the DNC spends all their time and energy trashing the little bit of populism in their movement. And if you ask me, handing conservatives a monopoly on anti-establishment rhetoric on a silver platter was probably their first mistake. They kind of gave up on that bread and butter New Deal.
Well, you can't really say that you're the establishment when every single person that has a mainstream media television show has the same viewpoints that you do. Like every late night talk show host is doing a monologue about how Kamala Harris should win the presidency. You can't talk about how you're not the mainstream when you have all of these A-list celebrities getting together to collectively condemn people that vote for Donald Trump. Like, it's very obvious that this is the majority opinion of people that are part of the establishment. And just because there's a large contingency of people on the internet who don't represent that doesn't mean that the establishment isn't working tooth and nail to try to fight that from happening. Look at how much they tried to demonize and like demonetize and kick Joe Rogan off of Spotify. Think about how much they're trying to stop free speech on Twitter or X. Think about how much before Elon Musk bought Twitter or X, how much they did stop free speech on there, how much they tried to control things with COVID, how much they tried to control things with election misinformation. It's just so obvious. And any normal person, and this is really what the problem is, it's that every reasonable, normal, average guy can see exactly what I'm talking about. So when you tell somebody that they can't see what's in plain sight directly in front of them, they're going to hate you for it. This is the reason why, like, theocracies usually fall with religion. It's because eventually people are tired of living a lie. They're tired of living their life according to a set of principles that they don't feel like represents them and that they have to actively forego their critical thought.
Stuff for identity politics, and if you deny this, you are either lying or coping. The physical manifestation of the left has gone from the vision of the blue-collar union worker to a nagging, scolding fat woman with blue hair, barging in into everyone's spaces and culturally
coming into Warhammer and saying there's not enough women in it.
Change this, change that. I don't like this, I don't like that. It's just incredible for me to witness years of anti-male rhetoric finally come back to bite the left and Democrats in the ass. Some Democrats are nervous the party was too late to realize the problem. These Democrats worry that the party has focused too much on courting women voters, LGBTQ voters, and culturally progressive voters, alienating too many men in the process. There's a recognition that we're losing men. Things we're doing around men haven't been working.
Well, here's the thing. It's that if you use drag queens to promote a political message, that political message is going to lose. Drag queens are not socially accepted by, like, average populations of people. Like, if you go to Walmart and you find 5 random Walmart citizens, Walmart Americans, they're probably all going to have the same reaction to a drag queen.
Men aren't moving right because they are choosing fascism. They are moving right because the left made them the villains in their anime fan fiction. It's not that they all like Trump. It's that they all hate you, and no amount of camo hats is going to fix that. But do not get it twisted. I do not in any way, shape, or form believe the GOP is going to help men. I don't think they're going to help anyone. Except maybe Israel.
I agree with that, too. You know, somebody says, like, oh, well, you can't get abortions anymore. It's like, oh, fuck, when I have to pay child support. Like, that's the first thing I think about.
Do I think all of the left is some hyper-woke fat lady wagging her finger in men's faces like, no fun allowed? No. If I did, I wouldn't call myself left.
And this has happened a lot. Like, I've seen this happen constantly where it's like women that are, I don't even really know if it's women. I don't want to categorize this as all as women. But I think that it's like people that are like complaining. They're like, I'm really bothered by how much people are using the word retarded, or I'm really bothered by how much people think this joke is funny. Like, people shouldn't be joking about this. This isn't funny. You shouldn't be allowed to. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Don't tell me what to say.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent.
Yeah.
But the Democratic Party is historically better on policy, and despite their messaging, even when it comes to helping men. Healthcare, higher wages, paid family leave, labor protection, Social Security, things Republicans have always fought against. And I think that's why this is extra frustrating to me. I don't say this with any love for the Republican Party. In fact, if anything, I say it with love for the Democratic Party. I f***ing hate them, but deep down, I wish they could be better. I'm doing this for your own good.
Yep. This hurts me more than it hurts you.
Go sleep, I love you, go to sleep. I just hope that whether Kamala wins or loses, the party can take a step back and evaluate what they're doing wrong. Because
they're taking a step back to have a support group for each other and talk about how much they want to kill Donald Trump, how much they want to kill themselves, how much they want to kill their family members, and how much they want to kill their unborn babies.
I don't think the Democratic Party should be the party for the gays and women. I think the Democratic Party should be the party for everyone, including angry white men. So in your opinion, what could the Democratic Party do to win back young men? Can they do anything? Are they fucked? To me, it might take decades of work to fix the culture, the rot.
I don't think that they can do it. I think that they're so captured by identity politics that they cannot undo this. Yeah, stop identity politics. Like, I feel like basically the, like, Donald Trump brand of, like, Republican politics will exist for the next 20 years.
If you like this video, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for 2 million subscribers. That's insane.
That's a lot of people.
And I will see you guys with a new video soon. Bye!
Yep. Yeah, it's a really good video. Give it a like. This is so good. Like, I wish there were more people that talked about this kind of stuff, because I feel like there's a lot of this stuff that needs to be talked about.